Oh, I don't know why that's playing. Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Hey there, YouTube, Slasher Chicks and Slasher Dudes. My name's Alicia, and this is Slasher Chick TV, where we like to talk about growth mindset and negotiation strategies. So you never have to choose between this or that. You can always say yes to this slash that. And this is going to be a self care Saturday stream in which I just fail forward because, for one, I don't. I think I mentioned this in a previous stream that I had, concert plans. Excuse me. I went to Bryson Tiller last week, and this week I was going to a reggae fest. And right now I am getting ready to head out towards the reggae fest, but I have like some water and snacks, and so I don't like to eat on a stream. I think that's rude, and I also hate eating sounds. I hate it when I hear other people's eating sounds. With one exception, the only exception is when Wendy Williams used to be on the radio. She used to eat on the radio all the time, and she was like the one person I would put up with it for. Um, so I'm just gonna apologize in advance if I happen to eat a chip in the background or something, and you happen to hear it. But this is the only way I can ensure that I achieve my goal of consecutive days of live streaming and make day 73, because I also don't know if you've never been to a reggae festival. For some reason, they are always 8 to 12 hours long. So, excuse me, this thing is going to be all day. I'm saying excuse me while I take a sip, but it is what it is. I have to hydrate and build up on snacks before I go to this festival. And since I didn't have a full plan for what I was going to stream about, I figured, well, I do still have a few days left to finish my 12-week year, and I can continue to move forward. And that now that I finished chapter 17, we can react to chapter 18 and what we learned from there as a act of self-care, and continuing to do this so that one can be at peak performance. And chapter 18 is called Performance Time. So I'm going to listen to that and hopefully retain some of it. And if you are embarking on a 12-week year, share your thoughts and reactions as well. Is one of the 5 disciplines of the 12-week year. All right, let me just start it over though, because he said something before that I don't recall what it was. Time. Effective time use is one of the 5 disciplines of the 12-week year. In combination with the other 4, vision, planning, process control, and scorekeeping, it is part of the proven 12-week year execution system. Now, as much as this is not my preferred method to be live streaming, I will still consider this an effective time use of that. I'm still here with my friends. This is an act of self care and it's cup filling for me. And did I have to step away for 30 minutes and say to my girlfriends, like, hey, I'm sorry, I have to go do my live stream for at least 30 minutes? So while some of y'all are getting dressed, that's what I'm going to go do? Yes. Um, does that feel great? Yes, it does feel good to know that I am keeping that to myself. And hi, Coach Jerry, as you said, making it to day 73. Now, that also means it's not going to be my best stream, right? Like you can probably hear the airplanes flying over my head, and that's not ideal, but progress over perfection, right? Isn't that it wouldn't be the first time that that's what I've had to lean on. So I'm going to continue to lean on it. But let's see what else this has to say about effective time management, because I'm obviously I'm not perfect at it either. Still, progress over perfection. Everything that we achieve in life happens in the context of time. The important things will only get done if you allocate time to them. One of the building blocks of your success is the ability to spend time on what matters most. Performance Time is an easy-to-use time blocking system that allows you to operate like the CEO of your business and life by spending your most valuable asset, your time, with intention. And when I say freedom, that's exactly what I mean. That's why I want to get to where I have so much freedom that I am consistently able to choose what I do with my time because that is our most important asset. It is not replenishable.
Your commitment and ability to apply performance time is a manifestation of personal leadership. If you live with the intentionality of effective time use, you will become a more effective leader of those around you, and you will build your business and personal success at a faster rate. As discussed in Chapter 7, there are three components that form the foundation of effective time use. They are strategic blocks, buffer blocks, and breakout blocks. Each of these three time blocks.
I still don't quite understand what he means about breakout blocks, but hopefully there's going to be more explanation. And Coach Sherry, you coach people on this, so maybe you have a better, like, well, an explanation that's going to make sense to me. But I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing with that breakout blocks time.
Blocks is designed to help you accomplish key activities more efficiently. Strategic blocks are 3 hours in length and should be scheduled early in your week so that if one gets interrupted or canceled, you have time to reschedule it. They are blocks of time when you work on your business, not in it. Strategic blocks should also be scheduled during times when your work activity is typically lowest. One strategic block.
Okay, now this is also then where I failed on trying to do this in my first week because my company has a practice of no internal meetings on Wednesday. It was a way to shift our meeting culture, being a really heavy meeting culture. I'm a firm believer of not having meetings about meetings. And that's one thing I know that I immediately added value to the organization where it's like, don't have meetings unless they have purpose because meetings are expensive. Like, and I don't know if y'all realize this. And if y'all just meeting with no expected outcomes, then you just wasting time. And because we have that practice of no internal meetings on Wednesday, that is usually a time that I use for my heavy, like, administrative days and times where I can do like mindless things, or things that require a lot of attention to detail where I need to be really focused, etc. So I thought putting my strategic blocks on that day would work. But the problem is that didn't. It didn't work. And what happens then is because it didn't work how he suggests in this chapter, make it earlier in the week so that if you need to move it, you can move it. But since I had it in the middle of the week and it didn't work, I didn't really leave myself a lot of leeway to move it around. So that's lesson learned. And I think what I'm going to do moving forward is similar to the BIP Sunday resets. Like, my strategic block should be on Monday. Now, I've recently had, hey Marlene, I've recently had a res- prior responsibility shift, where I will no longer have that responsibility after June. That was taking up my Monday nights. So that allows me now the flexibility to make Monday nights my strategic blocks. And that way, if for some reason that doesn't work, I know I have the flexibility to shift it to Wednesday. Well, I don't want say that so nonchalantly as if, like, yeah, well, if it don't work, I'm just going to move it to Wednesday, because that's not the plan. That would be plan B if it is absolutely necessary. But first things first, I need to shift it to earlier in the week to make it actually work as it is intended.
A week is usually adequate.
And thank you for clarifying, Coach Sherry, what the breakout blocks for. I would consider this like then going time to go to the reggae festival with my friends, or is a breakout block.
Buffer blocks are designed to deal with the lower level activity and are typically between 30 minutes and 1 hour in length, scheduled 1 to 2 times per day. The actual amount of time for buffer blocks will depend on the amount of email, phone calls, interruptions, and the other administrivia you are normally required to handle. Breakout blocks are designed to prevent burnout and create more free time. They are 3 hours in length.
See, now Tuesday mornings, because my company doesn't have no internal meeting dates, there's no internal meeting days on Wednesdays. Like, my work Tuesdays are very heavy as far as collaboration time with other people. So I have less flexibility on scheduling focused blocks of time that are just me on Tuesdays and Thursdays, because those are the times, because we're a no meeting on Wednesdays, that we ask our team to do like collaboration or meet in person, etc. So that's why the Mondays are gonna have to work for me. Because the responsibilities that I have, I often have also a Wednesday deadline. So, but I'm curious as to what Tuesday, because of where it is in the week, like what about it? Is that what it is about it that makes it one a good ideal day for heavy hitter practices, a heavy hitter product, or some other reason?
Should be scheduled once a week after the rest of the 12-week year is working for you. We recommend that you only have one per month until everything else is working and you are executing well. In addition to these three categories,
wait, you saying you only had one breakout?
And the other
Hope, fam.
strategic blocks should also be scheduled during times when your work activity is typically lowest. One strategic block per week is usually adequate. Buffer blocks are designed to deal with the lower level activity and are typically between 30 minutes and 1 hour in length, scheduled 1 to 2 times per day. The actual amount of time for buffer blocks will depend on the amount of email, phone calls, interruptions, and the other administrivia you are normally required to handle. Breakout blocks are designed to prevent burnout and create more free time. They are 3 hours in length and should be scheduled once a week after the rest of the 12-week year is working for you. We recommend that you only have one per month until everything else is working and you are executing well.
Well, I guess this is my one per month.
In addition to these three categories, you will also want to schedule blocks of time to execute other important activities. Model work week. In order to allocate your time effectively, it's helpful to create a picture of a highly productive week, a model work week. In the following exercise, you will create a model week using time blocks for your critical activities. Allocating your time in this way will enable you to generate the success you desire. The intent is to first design a week that allows you to be your most productive, and then to begin to adjust your actual schedule to align with your model week. The model week doesn't try to eliminate low value activities from your week. That doesn't work very well. Instead, you will carve out time each week to focus on your high value, high payoff activities. If you have a 12-week plan, those high payoff activities are the actions in your plan. Pencil in your time blocks, beginning with your strategic blocks, next moving to your buffer blocks, then ending with your breakout block. Then fill in the other important activities that need to happen each week. Let's get started. Use the template from our Achieve website or any calendar application.
Now, I gotta give it to him. Hey, Stead. Happy Saturday. They weaved in some marketing for all of their accompanying products throughout the book with ease. Like it's like every 2 seconds. You don't even see it coming. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh yeah, don't forget, go buy our app. If you need to, you can go check out our website for our coaches. We have workshops. It's like every 2 seconds they got another ad in. They weave it in quite a like. If I didn't know it was happening, I wouldn't know it was happening.
With hourly breakdowns to complete the following 5 steps. 1. Block out 15 minutes first thing Monday morning to review the prior week and to plan for the current week. 2. Schedule your 3-hour strategic block. 3. Schedule 1 or 2 buffer blocks each day, Monday through Friday. Typically 1 in the morning and 1 near the end of the day. For example, 11 to 12 o'clock and 4 to 5 o'clock. Remember that the amount of buffer time varies by individual.
Now, I just realized the connection I just made. What they describe here in as buffer blocks, and the time for that, like, how did they describe it? The word administrativities. I think that was the word they used. Um, it's similar to the inside. It's similar to the recommendation for a 4-week year. I mean, 4-day work week, 4 week year. I don't want a 4 week year. I do not, y'all. That's too much. But the 4-day work week is basically saying, like block off those kind of times for some of those heavy administrative activities, and basically let people know, like, hey, this is the time that I respond to emails. Time that I'll get back to you as a part of your autoresponder. So it's just interesting as an example of, there's not really anything new under the sun. Just different people come up with different ways to repackage it successfully. And I think that's really good because it doesn't always resonate with people in the same way. One example that I always think about for that is statistics. When I took statistics in college, they usually will have this like drop add period where you can still drop or add courses like without penalty. And I took statistics. It wasn't until my third instructor with statistics that they finally was someone that put stuff into terms and ways that I understood it, and where it was like I would spend every day in class going like, oh, like it was just such an aha that that's what that person meant. So I don't think there's anything wrong with things being repackaged, but it was just okay, well that's I've heard that before. Um but okay, Coach Sherry says if you follow the system, it does free up your Fridays quite a bit, and you'll get so much more accomplished. Okay. I mean, here's the thing that I guess I'm also finding challenging with it. It's one thing to follow the system in my personal life. It's another thing to try to follow the system professionally when I'm not working with other people who are also following the system professionally. So how does one then adapt to others, or is it, and that's back to then this thing of like putting Z in my auto responder of like, this is when I respond to emails, etc. And it's about communicating and coaching others to adapt to you and your way of working if it's new, and not one that they're used to.
And administrative workload. 4. Schedule a breakout block. 5. Schedule all additional important activities. A. Client and prospect appointments. B. Standing meetings. C. Marketing and sales. D. Planning. E. Required administrative and operational tasks. F. Preparation for client meetings and customer service. G. Project work. H. Referral lunches. I. One-on-one coaching sessions. J. Personal tasks. Initially, it might seem like there is very little time left in your week. While that may be true, if you've done the exercise properly, you will notice that all the critical and important activities are accounted for.
That's
The
what
items
Coach
you've
Sherry
scheduled
just
are
said.
the tasks that are instrumental in achieving your vision and taking your business to the next level. It's crucial that you construct a week that works on paper before trying to execute it. If you can't get it to work on paper, then there's no way.
Now, I haven't done this part. I hadn't made it this far in the book yet, but I definitely haven't tried to model an ideal week. So that will be my homework to officially do that and put it on paper and see what does that look like. Especially this particular week. It's a week in which I have meetings that go late into the evening, and it will definitely be a more like realistic week for, because then for some things, yeah, I'm about to go into a summer break where like I won't have a lot of evening meetings that I would normally have. But come September, like my schedule will be back to some of those things, and possibly more. So mapping it out now will be helpful because then I can go back and continue to like add and move things around as those things change and come back in.
It will work in actual practice. In the end, everything happens in the context of time. If you are not in control of your time, then you won't be in control of your results.
And that is true.
Personal effectiveness is all about your intentionality. Performance time agendas. Following are suggested agendas for strategic and buffer blocks. These agendas will help you leverage these critical time blocks more effectively. Strategic block, sample agenda 3 hours.
I was looking
Reconnect
forward
with
to
your
this.
vision. 5 to 10 minutes. Review your vision and assess your progress. Are you advancing? Are you making progress? Is there still an emotional connection? 12-week review, 10 to 15 minutes. Review your metrics. Look at your results against your goals. Inspect your weekly execution score and your lead and lag indicators. Are you executing at a high level and is it producing? If not, what can you do this week to improve? Assess.
Interesting. So it suggests this weekly check-in at the weekly strategy session, as well as your weekly accountability meetings. But technically, your weekly accountability meeting should be with like another person that's holding you accountable. The strategy sessions are like with yourself. All right, I needed to talk that out loud to myself. It seems like a lot.
Performance breakdowns. 10 to 20 minutes. Is there a breakdown? If so, what is the root cause? Do you need to adjust your plan or just execute better? Work on plan tactics. 2 to 2.5 hours. Use this time to complete tactics from your 12-week plan. Other examples of strategic block activity. Read a book. Take an online course. Plan for the next 12-week year. Most
Oh,
often done in week 12 or 13.
all kinds of
Buffer
strategic
block
work.
sample
Got it.
agenda. 30 to 60 minutes.
To work in the business, not on the
Review and
business.
respond to email.
I work on the
Listen to
business, not in the
voicemail and
business.
respond
Got
as
it.
needed. Make necessary outbound calls. Follow up on to-do list items. Take quick meetings with staff to answer questions or to plan follow-up. Organize and file.
Now, do you feel like that some of those things are coming to a close and it'll be back to normal soon, Coach Cherry? Or this is the new normal for some time period and you're figuring out how you use your same systems in this adjusted normal? I'm curious.
Work in process and completed items. Identify any new to-do list items and record. These agendas are just samples, but
I'm glad you like your new office. Congratulations on that.
notice the type of activity in a strategic block versus a buffer block. Strategic blocks are reserved for the critical, high payoff activity, while the buffer blocks are designed to deal with the low-level, busy work. Performance time is a unique system for blocking your time out each week. It will help you to allocate time to the things that matter most. What would be different for you if you were consistently able to get more of your most important things done in your life and in your business? Where could you be 12 weeks from now, 3 years from now? Often, within just 1 week of applying the concepts, you will begin to see results and may feel more in control of your time than you have in years.
That would be nice.
Thinking shift. Given the value and limited supply of time, it's interesting that almost all of us have difficulty spending it as effectively as we would like to. Many clients we work with,
Wait, what?
driven by the natural.
Let me see what he means there. Hold on. Oh, okay. Well, that will add capacity for you, but also the onboarding time and training people up slows things down a little bit for that time being. But it's one of those things where, like, yes, I have to spend this extra time on the front end for it to pay off in the long run. So,
Desire to earn
get
revenue
it.
whenever the opportunity
Strategic
arises
sector.
will discard their pre-planned schedule without a second thought to accommodate the requests of prospects and clients. They do this repeatedly, seemingly without regard to the long-term impact on their business. In effect, the time that could be spent building their own future is instead spent on building someone else's. In the final analysis, many of our clients value others' time above their own. To achieve breakthrough, you must come to think about your own time as at least as important as that of your customers. Only in this way can you build your business and, ironically,
That is a real mindset shift about thinking about your own time at least as important as you do your customers. But if you really think about it, you're your first and most important customer. So, yeah, Huh. That was like a shift for me in thinking about it in that way, too. Like, if you don't serve you your highest and best, how could you ever be serving someone else that?
also improve your client service simultaneously.
Oh, shoot.
Another
It's not
belief that
filling my
gets in the
cup.
way of effective execution and efficient time use is that you can get it all done. If you assume that when you work fast enough, hard enough, or long enough, you can do everything, you are in for an unpleasant surprise.
That's true.
A study from a few years ago found that the average professional has about 40 hours of unfinished work in their queue at any given point in time.
Child, I don't even want to think about it.
It's important to realize the simple truth that you can't do it all. Otherwise, you will continue to labor under the false belief that you will eventually catch up and finally get to the important stuff.
I think this is also hard for anyone that, like, if you work in or are responsible for operations, your work's never done, because unless the business closes, you're still going to be working. There's always something that you could improve upon. There's just always going to be something to do. And so you have to, like, find those milestones that or give you something to celebrate as far as completion.
You will continue to use all of your time on the urgent day-to-day activity and postpone the strategic that is required to create breakthrough and, ultimately, the life you desire. If you frequently defer the strategic work to accomplish the urgent, lower-value activities, you will never accomplish great things. If you work under the belief that you can eventually get important things done by first working through the urgent ones, you will likely never get to the strategic stuff. The thinking that says, I will start building my ideal future tomorrow, or next week, or next month, is fatally flawed. The future you are going to live is the one you are creating right now, this very moment. Reaching a breakthrough isn't
That's
about
so
being
true.
incremental.
I often think about that, at least in terms of, like, I think about this. Maybe I should probably start thinking about this in both ways, because I think about this when things are going really well. Like, huh, this is the future I had envisioned for myself. And there are often times where I will thank past me for ways in which I set up myself for success, right? Now, I don't think about that when things are not going the way that I want to. Like, hey, this is the future that past you set up for yourself. Like, how you feeling about that? That's not true. I guess I do, because then I think, hey, if there's something you want in the future, like, what should you be doing now? So I guess I do think about it that way, but I still try to have a more future forward lens at it than looking back at what I could have, would have, should have.
Breakthroughs require a profound change in the way that you work before it shows up in your results. For some, breakthrough results may mean a 20% increase in income. For others, it may mean doubling their business. For still others, breakthrough may be taking more time off while maintaining their income. In each case, creating a breakthrough will require a willingness to change how time is allocated. These kinds of performance increases may sound inspiring, but if you are already nearing the capacity of your current system, you may honestly feel that there just isn't enough time in the week for a breakthrough.
Well, I'm definitely not nearing the capacity of my current system, because I haven't used the system effectively yet, so I can't say that.
Clients often view higher performance levels as possible for others, but not possible for themselves. Many times, they feel that they are already working too hard, and the thought of working harder to earn more is unattractive. They may even have a real fear of success, the fear that says, my current system cannot handle the level of activity that will success. It seems like common sense to think that you have to work proportionately harder to earn more, but that kind of thinking is exactly what limits what you can accomplish in life.
Yes, because I have seen plenty of people fail forward, and plenty of people that I'm like, I've worked with you. I know you actually aren't qualified for that more senior position that you got, but you got it. Huh. So there's that.
Think about this. People earning $1 million per year aren't working 10 times harder than people earning $100,000. In fact,
I think that reminds me of Coach Cherry's when you said you had that thought, like, huh, there's money out here apparently. I'm gonna go get it.
they're sometimes working less, but they are working differently. The fact is, you won't reach a breakthrough if you are not willing to change how you currently allocate your time. To get different results, you will have to do things differently and do different things. Don't let the mechanics blur the concept. To be your best, you will need to carve out time to work strategically. You will need to find a way to efficiently handle the low payoff activities, and you need time to refresh and rejuvenate. Team application.
All right. Well, there we go. That was that chapter there. So that was finishing. Oh, I'm still in chapter 17. I could have sworn those were all just segments. So we're still in chapter 17, but closer to finishing the 12-week year full book. There's just a few more chapters to get through. But it's been helpful to use my live stream time as a way to multitask and continue to consume the book as I also try to practice some of these things. But I mentioned that I hadn't finished the whole book, and I keep sharing with you all as I go through it what I'm doing successfully, what I'm not doing successfully. But I am going to keep refining this system to figure out how I'm supposed to be working it so I can learn from it, because I know quite a few people that I admire find it quite successful. And if it's working for them, I'm sure it can work for me. So I'm just going to keep working at it and continue to support myself in some progress over perfection. But that's about all I have for day 73 of my 90 consecutive days of live stream. And I'm going to go ahead and get ready for this reggae festival and have this breakout session that I technically didn't earn, but I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope you have a great rest of your Saturday. If no one else told you today, you are more than enough, and I love you.